Let's get started with our first news. Michael Bisping has offered some key advice to Dricus du Plessis ahead of his highly anticipated middleweight title defense against the undefeated powerhouse Khamzat Chimeev at UFC 390. This fight is already drawing massive attention, and Bisping's comments just added more fuel to the fire. Instead of advising Dricus to play it safe or avoid Chimeev's world-class wrestling, Bisping took the opposite route, telling him to confront it head-on. On his YouTube channel, Bisping broke it down with absolute confidence. He said, "Dricus du Plessis, I mean, you cannot doubt this guy." And he's right. Despite Chimeev's ferocious grappling pedigree, Dricus isn't backing down. In fact, Bisping revealed that Dricus has no intention of avoiding the ground game, something nearly everyone else has done when facing Chimeev. Bisping continued, "Everyone else tries to avoid the ground with him, but Dricus said, I want to fight the best version of him. I want to test my skills against his on the ground." That says a lot about du Plessis' mindset. He's clearly not intimidated by Chimeev's wrestling, and he's got the credentials to justify that confidence. There are actual videos online showing Dricus going up against an entire Gracie Barra black belt team, and not only holding his own but submitting them all one by one. That's not just impressive, that's elite. This man is a physical monster. He's big, he's strong, and he can wrestle. On top of that, he's got solid judo fundamentals and carries serious knockout power in both hands. Plus, he recently had a corrective nose surgery, which according to Bisping has improved his gas tank significantly. In other words, he can go hard for 5 rounds now without gassing out. And let's not ignore the bad blood. These two absolutely hate each other. This isn't just about a title, it's personal. And when it comes to Khamzat Chimeev, we've seen what happens when he gets fighters to the ground. Look at what he did to Robert Whittaker. He absolutely dominated. Look at Kamaru Usman. Some people might argue, oh, Usman's best days are behind him. Maybe. But then look at how Chimeev handled someone like Buckley. The man is still as dangerous as ever. That's the level we're talking about here. So if Dricus goes in there trying to avoid Chimeev, trying to play defense the whole time, trying to run and stay away, he's gonna lose. Simple as that. Chimeev is too relentless, too strong, and too skilled to be avoided. He's gonna get to you eventually. That's why Bisping's advice makes so much sense. Before moving to the next news, we have one quick request for you. We're constantly working on improving our content to earn your love and support. That's why we truly appreciate it if you could take just a moment to leave a like on this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell icon so you never miss an update. Your support really helps us grow and bring you even better content every single time. And of course, don't forget to leave your opinion in the comments. Let us know what you think we should improve next. Your feedback means a lot to us, and we're always listening. Thank you. Moving on to our second news, Reinier de Ridder believes that Paulo Costa is the man behind the fake X account that's been causing quite a stir online. That's right, the account in question went viral, gathering over 1 million views, all while pretending to be Reinier himself. And the post, well, it wasn't just any random meme or joke. It was designed to look like Reinier was calling Paulo out in a very personal and direct way. You've probably seen the photo. It's the famous one featuring Paulo Costa and Israel Adesanya during one of their intense pre-fight moments. But it was the caption that got everyone talking. The post read, "You got your first win in 3 years. I got my first decision in 4 years." Then it went on to say, "You talk actions speak louder than words, so meet me in November at MSG. Don't sit out for another year." That right there had fans buzzing. People started speculating, is Reinier really trying to set up a fight with Costa? Is there some beef we didn't know about? But as it turns out, the answer is a big no. That account was a fake. It was not run by Reinier de Ridder. And in a recent interview with Inside Fighting, he made that absolutely clear. He shut down the rumors and confirmed that he has no desire to fight Paulo and that he never made that post in the first place. In fact, he went a step further and made a very bold claim. He believes Paulo Costa, I himself, may have been running the fake account. That's right, de Ridder said, "No, I think it was Paulo Costa himself. I think he had both accounts going on." According to Reinier, this whole situation might have been orchestrated by Costa as a way to hype things up or throw some fuel into the fire. And honestly, if you followed Costa's career, that wouldn't be too surprising. The guy is known for being unpredictable, sarcastic, and always ready to cause some drama online. Whether it's memes, fake callouts, or trash talk, Costa loves the attention. But accusing someone of running a fake account, especially one pretending to be a fellow fighter, is a pretty serious thing. If Reinier is right, it means Costa was trying to manufacture hype by pretending someone else was calling him out. That's next level trolling, even for him. On the other hand, if Reinier is wrong, then someone else out there is impersonating him just to stir the pot, and that's still a major issue. Either way, this little fake account saga has added a bizarre twist to the ever-entertaining world of MMA. Real beef or just internet antics? We may never know for sure, but one thing's clear. Reinier wants nothing to do with Costa right now, and he's not gonna let some fake post change that. Next up, we've got a positive update from Ben Askren, and it's the kind of news fans love to hear. The former fighter and wrestling legend has been in the hospital recently, which had many people worried about his condition. Thankfully, he's now provided some clarity on what's going on, and it sounds like things are finally starting to turn around. In a video he shared on social media, Askren gave what he called update number 7, letting everyone know how he's doing. Right off the bat, he looked calm but admitted, "My hands are a little shaky from some of these medicines." That alone shows he's still going through treatment and dealing with some side effects, but the overall message was filled with optimism. He said, "I'm still in the hospital, but everything's been good." According to Askren, the doctors initially kept him hospitalized because they suspected there might be an infection developing. That kind of uncertainty is never fun, especially when you're stuck in a hospital room just waiting for test results. But here's the good news. Askren said that every single test they've run so far has come back negative. No signs of infection, nothing dangerous. That's a huge relief, not only for Askren, but for fans who've been keeping an eye on his condition. He added, "They kept me here because they thought there was some infection possibility, but every test they've run so far has come back negative, so I'm pretty happy about that. And honestly, who wouldn't be? It's scary being in the hospital when you don't know exactly what's wrong. But getting confirmation that the major concerns are off the table is a massive weight lifted." He went on to say, "I don't think there's anything wrong at all. I think I'm waiting for 1 or 2 more tests to come back, and then we'll see where we go from there." That final line makes it clear he's not out the door yet, but things are definitely heading in the right direction. Just a few more tests, and then hopefully he's cleared to head home. For a guy like Ben Askren, who's always been known for his resilience, toughness, and no-nonsense attitude, it's good to see him stay upbeat during something like this. Even though he's retired from competition, he remains a beloved figure in the MMA community. His presence online, his commentary, his sense of humor, they all still matter to a lot of fans. So this update, it's a win, and after a rough few days, it's exactly what we wanted to hear. Ben Askren is on the mend. The scary stuff seems to be behind him, and now it's just about finishing out those final steps. Here's hoping for a full and speedy recovery. Now let's move on to one of the more intense stories this week, and trust me, this one's got drama written all over it. Alex Pereira confronted Michael Bisping. Yeah, you heard that right. The calm, ice-cold, soft-spoken Pereira we're all used to seeing? This time, he showed a completely different side. This was not business as usual. This time, it was tense. It was serious. There was real heat, and it all went down during an unexpected face-to-face encounter that got everyone talking. According to Bisping himself, this wasn't just a casual run-in. No handshakes and smiles. No friendly banter. No, Pereira walked right up to Bisping and stared him down. There was no hesitation. It was pure intensity. And then, just to raise the stakes, Alex's coach Plinio Cruz jumped in and started throwing verbal jabs at Bisping. That escalated things even further, and suddenly the whole situation went from awkward to full-on hostile. So what caused this confrontation? Why did Pereira feel the need to step to Bisping like that? Well, it all goes back to UFC 3013. After Pereira lost his light heavyweight title to Magomed Ankalaev, Bisping didn't hold back in his post-fight analysis. He basically said that Pereira didn't look like he really wanted it. He called the performance lazy, said there was no fire, no urgency, and apparently those words cut deep, because Pereira hasn't forgotten them. Now, with the rematch between Pereira and Ankalaev set for October, this isn't just about reclaiming the belt anymore. It's about proving a point. It's about silencing the critics. And yes, it's also about shutting up Michael Bisping. Pereira is clearly coming back with a chip on his shoulder, and this time he's not just fighting for gold, he's fighting for a respect. To be fair, the whole interaction felt strange, especially coming from someone as reserved as Pereira. The guy is known for being stone-faced, respectful, composed, but everyone's got their limit. And after hearing someone publicly call your effort lazy, especially from a guy like Bisping who's known for being brutally honest, maybe this was Pereira's boiling point. Now, let's walk through what actually happened. Bisping told the story himself. Friday night, or maybe it was Thursday, he said, "I went out for dinner with Rebecca. We're walking back to the hotel, and I see him standing out front with his translator, or trainer, or whatever. You know who I'm talking about. Plinio Cruz." He continued, "I'm walking over and I see him there. I go, 'Hey champ, good to see you.' I shook his hand and he just looked at me like he wanted to kill me. It didn't end there." Bisping added, "His translator shakes my hand and says, 'Oh, firm handshake.' And I'm just thinking, what's going on here, boys? I'm off to bed. Don't beat the shit out of me." So yeah, things got real weird real quick. Now for an update on Jon Jones and his ongoing legal situation, and things are starting to get more complicated than anyone expected. As many of you already know, Jones recently vacated the UFC heavyweight title, sparking all kinds of speculation about injuries, retirement, or a potential move away from competition. But behind the scenes, a different story was unfolding, one involving legal trouble that dates back to earlier this year. In February, reports emerged that Jon Jones had been involved in a traffic incident and was accused of leaving the scene of an accident. That's a serious matter, and it quickly became clear that law enforcement was treating it as more than just a minor issue. Jones is now facing a misdemeanor charge for leaving the scene, but unfortunately that's not the only legal issue he's dealing with right now. There's also a second misdemeanor charge being brought against him, and this one is tied to what MMA fighting has described as the use of a telephone to terrify, intimidate, threaten, harass, annoy, or offend. Yes, that is the actual legal language used in the complaint. It's a charge that suggests more than just a heated conversation or misunderstanding. It implies intentional intimidation, and it's being taken seriously by the court. Now let's talk timelines. Jones has a bench trial scheduled, and for those unfamiliar, that means the case will be decided by a judge instead of a jury. The first of those trials is set for August 14th, where the court will address the phone-related charge. Then on September 2nd, he's scheduled for a second bench trial, which will focus on both the alleged hit-and-run and that same phone incident, essentially combining the matters into one proceeding unless the case gets dismissed before then. Speaking of dismissal, Jones's legal team isn't staying quiet. His attorney has already filed a motion to dismiss the second case, arguing that Jones is already being charged for the accident and that piling on additional charges from what they claim is the same sequence of events could be considered excessive or duplicative. But here's the thing, as of now, the judge has not ruled on that motion, so it's still very much up in the air whether that second case will even move forward. What does this mean for Jones's fighting future? Honestly, it's hard to say. Legal battles like this can drag on, especially when court schedules stretch across multiple months. While there's been no official word on whether these charges will affect his UFC status, one thing is clear: Jon Jones is facing more than just opponents in the octagon. He's now dealing with legal opponents in the courtroom, and the outcome could shape what comes next for one of MMA's most controversial figures. For now, all we can do is stay tuned. The next few weeks could bring major updates, and with Jones, you just never know what's around the corner. And finally, let's talk about Dan Hooker, and this one might raise a few eyebrows. Hooker believes the UFC might actually book Ilia Topuria versus Paddy Pimblett, and according to him, that's just wild. In a recent interview with Sky Sports, Hooker didn't hold back. He said the funny thing is they might actually do Paddy versus Ilia, which is an absolute take. He fights Chandler, then gets a title shot? Absolute take, but who cares? It's clear that Hooker thinks this potential matchup has less to do with competition and more to do with business, and he's probably right. He elaborated further, saying, "At the end of the day, he's not going to hold the belt for very long." That's a bold claim, but Hooker isn't exactly known for sugarcoating things. Then he broke down the logic from Ilia's perspective, and it actually makes sense. Logically, he explained, Ilia should be fighting Arman Tsarukyan, but he's not going to because Arman is a really tough fight. If I'm sitting there with the title and getting pay-per-view points and I have to pick between Arman Tsarukyan, Justin Gaethje, or Paddy Pimblett, I would take the hardest guy. But if you're smart, you take Paddy. And let's be honest, that's smart business. A fight with Paddy isn't just a potential W, it's a guaranteed payday. There's buzz, there's hype, there's beef. the trash talk would be off the charts, and the buildup would probably sell itself. Hooker summed it up perfectly. You're going to get the most money in the worst fighter. It's a win-win situation for Ilia. From a competitive standpoint, it's controversial, but from a promotional standpoint, it's genius. And that's the UFC, where spectacle often trumps logic and drama can outweigh rankings. So that's the latest in the world of combat sports. Drama, challenges, confrontations, comebacks. Whether it's Bisping giving bold advice, Pereira looking to redeem himself, or Jon Jones facing judges instead of fighters, this sport never sleeps. What do you think? Would Ilia versus Paddy be legit or just another money fight? Drop your thoughts in the comment.